Hi, everyone. Today, I would love to share one of my favorite books. It's called Berlioz the Bear, written and illustrated by Jan Brett. That's a double win right there if you can write and draw. Zoom, zoom, bzzz. Zoom, zoom, bzzz. Berlioz had been practicing for weeks, and now, just when the orchestra was going to play at the village square for a gala ball, a strange buzz was coming from his double bass. "Why now?" he said. The musicians arrived with their instruments. As Berlioz watched them climb aboard the bandwagon, all he could think about was his buzzing bass. What if his bass buzzed during the ball? What if the dancers stopped dancing and laughed at him? Zoom, zoom, bzzz. Zoom, zoom, bzzz, he imagined. Berlioz picked up the reins and clucked the mule. Off they went, down the road. He was so worried he didn't see a hole in the road ahead. Suddenly, the wagon lurched to a stop. The front wheel was stuck in the hole. The mule took one look back, sat down, and yawned. "Oh dear," said Berlioz, as he tried to get the mule to stand up and pull the bandwagon out of the hole. "What can we do? We'll be late for the ball." "I'll help you," said a rooster, passing by on his way to the ball. "I'll just tug on the rope and pull you out," he bragged. The rooster pulled and pulled, but the mule stayed put. A tabby, who had been watching from atop of a fence, spoke up smugly. "This isn't a job for a featherweight," he purred. "I'll do it for you." And he took hold of the rope and pulled, but the mule wouldn't move. "Oh my," said Berlioz. "At this rate, we'll never get to the ball on time. Everyone, put on your concert tailcoats, so we'll be ready to start as soon as we get there." Just then, a schnauzer, who came trotting over the hill, took one look at the cat and sniffed. "A furball like you can't pull a bandwagon. Here, let me have that rope." He panted and pulled, but the wagon stayed in the hole. Berlioz handed out the music. "Everyone, take out your instruments. We'll start tuning here." Along came a prancing billy goat. He looked at the schnauzer and snorted, "Move out of the way, squirt, and let me do it. I'll have this wagon out in no time." The billy goat strained forward, but to his surprise, he got nowhere. Berlioz checked his pocket watch. There wasn't much time left. He was about to give up when he heard a new voice. "Allow me," said a plow horse coming across the field. This will be easy. I spend my days pulling. But even the plow horse couldn't move the mule. Oh, Berlioz tugged at his ears. It was almost time for the ball to begin. He looked around and saw a large ox lumbering toward them. Everyone, tune up. Here comes someone who can pull us out. You're saved, roared the ox. This poor plow horse means well, but only I am strong enough to pull a bandwagon full of musicians. He twisted the rope and around his horns and gave a mighty tug. The animals held their breaths, but the mule wouldn't budge. The clock on the tower started to chime. 8 o'clock. Doo, 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 doo. Oh no! Berlioz shouted. In desperation, he pulled his bow across the strings, and to his dismay, he heard zoom, zoom, bzz, zoom, zoom, bzz, bzz. All the musicians looked at the double bass. Out of the bass shot a very angry bee. It had been disturbed far too often. The first thing it saw as it flew out of the bass was the hindquarters of the mule. With one giant sting, the bee made the mule jump to his feet and pull the bandwagon out of the hole, full of musicians, down the road and into the village square before the bells stopped chiming. The audience roared. What an entrance, they cried, and the orchestra, already dressed and ready to go, began to play. Zoom, 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 zoom. It was hard to say who had more fun at the ball, the musicians or the dancers. Berlioz had never played better. Encore, Berlioz, encore. Berlioz came forward. Thank you all this evening. I would like to dedicate our encore to the buzzing bee. The end. I love how no matter how small you can be, sometimes you can always save the day. Good job to that bee for saving the day, saving that concert for those traveling bears. At the very end of the book, I'll show you, I didn't really show you at the beginning, but at the very end, he's playing a song called Flight of the Bumblebee, written by Rimsky-Korsakov. Rimsky-Korsakov was a composer, someone who writes music. And he wrote a piece of music called Flight of the Bumblebee, where he uses instruments to recreate the sounds of a flying, buzzing bee. Thanks for joining me for Berlioz the Bear. It's one of my favorite stories. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you next time.